you all for being here tonight for our regular council meeting, September 27th, 2018. We are getting a bit of a late start because of our agenda work session, and we will actually have to come back to our agenda work session once this meeting is completed. We still have some items there that we did not have a chance to discuss. Right, if everyone would please stand, join me in the invocation and pledge to the flag. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, for all that you've done for us. We thank you for the opportunity to gather here to conduct the city's business. Lord, we just pray that you would give us wisdom and guidance, make good decisions, the best decisions for our city today and going forward. Lord, we just pray that everything said and done would be to honor and glorify you. These things we pray in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the roll call, please.
Mayor Lambert.
Here.
Vice Mayor Sewell.
Here.
Councilmember Cagle.
Here.
Councilmember Hilton. Here. Councilmember Williams.
Here.
City Manager Miller.
Here.
City Attorney Litchfield.
Here. Council, I trust you've had opportunity to review the items in the consent agenda, be the minutes from the September 13th agenda work session, as well as the minutes from the September 13th regular council meeting. There's also an August 2018 financial statement.
Make a motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second to approve. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Sewell.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton. Yes. Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes. It's not ready. Thank you, sir. Okay, at this time we will entertain communication from citizens. If you are a resident in the city of East Ridge and have a comment, question, or concern you'd like to bring to the council, this would be your opportunity to do so. You'll come to one of the microphones here at the front, state your name and address for the record. You'll have up to 5 minutes. We do have a couple who have signed in. The first one would be Leslie Bostain, 731 Germantown Circle.
I'm not sure I understand.
Should I say it again? Oh, that was funny. Yes, ma'am.
Leslie Bostain. That one? Yeah.
Here.
Okay. 731 Germantown Circle. I would like to publicly thank Mike Roxell and Russell Smith of Lexington Assets. Many of us appreciate the steps that you are going to take to increase the security at the Sweet Bay Apartments. Thank you for considering similar steps at Newcastle. I hope the city evaluates the conditions of Roper and D streets and they move swiftly to address the conditions. You faced strong opposition. You both handled it with grace and civility. To my knowledge, not once did either of you minimize the concerns of the citizens, nor did you marginalize the opposition. In fact, you embraced the neighbors and you listened to their concerns. Most importantly, to my knowledge, you never demonized the opposition. Ordinance 1076, Section 2, my understanding, and Mr. Miller has confirmed, ties security measures to a piece of property. If Lexington Assets decides to sell this property in a year or 10 years from now, the security measures stay with the property. The new owner will assume the responsibility of executing these measures. I believe we have set a precedence here. Future zone, rezone, or developments can be subjected to similar measures. I want to thank Mr. Miller and Mr. Custer for their leadership in facilitating the community meeting that we had with Lexington Assets. This was simply about increasing security and listening to the early opposition to the project outside of the tunnels. Similar concerns have been raised: traffic, crime, property values. I think we all had valid concerns, and I think this has been a great resolution to conflict. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person is Earl Wilson.
I'm Earl Wilson. I'm here representing the Need Children's Fund in our upcoming Pioneer Fest on October 13th. So far, we're making real good progress. We've heard from all the people that are running for offices except for two. I'm not going to point them out. I will just get with them individually. We are asking that if there's any of the present city council, including Scott, before you leave us, that would like to sit on the dump tank that day, we would definitely entertain the opportunity for you to sit up there and hopefully get wet. So we are making progress. It looks like we're going to have a pretty good turnout, and that's the same day that the circus will be going on in Camp Jordan. So we're going to have a couple of tickets and so forth to give away to the circus. So if anybody's going to see the involvement, whatever, volunteer for everything, we are needing volunteers to staff some of the booths and things that we have going on. We'll have T-shirts for those individuals to wear that will say staff, and we did get yours, Mr. Richard, came in to the post office box. So, but at this point, we are looking forward to the first of many of these, and we'd just like for everybody that would be there, help out for upcoming Christmas run that we're ready to do. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I do want to remind everyone as well, speaking of upcoming events, next Saturday, Amanda, next Saturday, the River Rescue, Larry Clark came to us for the last meeting, asked for our participation. So if you can, what time should folks show up?
9 to 1, and we usually meet on Yale Street around near the animal shelter, and we work in that area, and we also walk to the other end of Yale Street to some other city property we have there to access the creek.
Right. All right, so I would encourage everyone to, if you have opportunity, to come out and be a part of that as well. Do we have anyone else? Yes, sir.
Richard Lee, 616 Huntington Drive.
Oh,
I might have missed.
Can you say it into the
Richard
microphone?
Lee,
I'm sorry.
611 Huntington Drive. On the 6th of October, there's a meet and greet thing for all candidates running in front of the new local coffee shop up here. And it's right there where the church is in the back, in the front, it's a coffee shop. It's going to be from 12 to 3. Just get ready for that.
All right, thank you, sir. Is there another? See none, we'll move on to communication from council members. Mr. Cagle, do you have anything for us?
Not one thing, I'd like to ask Mr. Miller a question. 5 or 6 weeks back, I asked you about the occupancy international sign that was took down at the 41 during all the construction. And I was wondering if you ever asked ASA.
I did pass that on. I was back up there. It's not back up.
No, sir, did you ever find it? That was
talked to them about it, they said they acknowledged it, and they said they were gonna put it back up. That's what I got from them. That was right at the time I was doing the walk inspection out there with them. I brought it up with, the engineers, the construction engineers on that. So I'll have to find out from them again where it
If
is.
they hadn't put it up, can we get it put up on the other side of the freeway there in front of Wally's?
Are you one in front of Wally's?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Be more visible.
you got it.
All right, thank you.
Would be more visible except during campaign season.
Put it right up there.
All right. Mr. Sewell.
One thing I have to like, I wish the Weaver had birthday today.
Yes, sir.
Came up here with a birthday. Nothing better to do. I'll West County.
Mr. Williams.
Yes, I want to remind everyone that this Sunday, the 30th at 10:30, we're doing a service and honor celebration at Jones Memorial. Everyone's welcome to come join us. We're honoring first responders, educators, civil servants, military, medical providers, and community workers. I think everyone on the council and fire and police have been notified and requested to be like to honor them. So if anyone would like to attend, we'd love to have you.
Yes, sir. Ms. Hill.
The only thing I have is this Friday at the football game, they're gonna induct 10 more people into the Hall of Fame. Gym City being one of some of our boards.
Right.
So,
All right. I've already mentioned the river rescue, and we've had a couple of other events talked about. Looks like the ball game tomorrow night. Candidate, is it Anderson County tomorrow? Candidate meet and greet on the 6th. And then the Deep Child Fund event as well. So, that's about all that I can think of in terms of, and then, of course, the Jones Memorial.
Yes, I don't know if I mentioned, but lunch is provided by the church, so everyone's welcome.
Excellent. Ed, how did the barbecue go?
Very well, very well. I haven't gotten the numbers, I don't know if they reported or not, but it seemed to be the busiest that I've seen in years.
Nice. That's very good.
And it always goes to a good cause for codes for school children.
Right. Excellent. All right. Mr. Miller.
Yes, thank you. I want to introduce Adam Wilson. Adam, please stand. Adam is our new Park and Recreation Director. He's a graduate of the University of West Georgia with a BS in Recreation, emphasis on sport management. He comes to us from Catoosa County Parks and Recreation, where he served there since 2005. The latest, say, 8-9 years, he was the athletics director. He's very well aware of Camp Jordan Parkway, our splash pad, our grants, and our recreational entities within the city. And he's had a lot of good ideas that he would like to start looking at implementing our recreation programming for youth and seniors. So please stop by and introduce yourself to him. Phil is here with what's your concerns or issues, what you'd like to see. Certainly he'd like to be like a sponge and soak it all in. Thank you.
Welcome. Absolutely. Glad to have you here. All right. This time we will proceed to old business. And item A, ordinance number 1076 on second final reading.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee to amend the zoning regulations and the zoning map of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee so as to rezone the property located at 3623 Fountain Avenue, tax map number 156 H-002 from R1 Residential District to R3 Residential Apartment District.
Do we have a motion in regard to ordinance 1076?
Motion. To approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve from Mr. Cagle, second from Ms. Helton. Are there any comments or questions?
Just want to preface to council that this is the second ordinance that was placed before you tonight, not the one that was in your original agenda packet. The one in your original agenda packet stopped at 2G. The ordinance that you were looking at tonight on the conditions goes section 2, adds H, I, and J. That's school bus, the courtesy officer, and security cameras. Okay.
Okay. We can have the roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Stoll,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes. Item is approved on second final reading. Item B, ordinance 1081 on second final reading.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee to amend the zoning regulations and the zoning map of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee so as to rezone the property located 1509 Waterhouse Street, tax map number 169K-K-004 from R1 Residential to C2 General Commercial District.
Motion approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Motion was Mr. Sewell. Ms. Helton was the second.
So the other question I have is the notation here about the landscaping screening, that it would be required based upon our current code, so it's not needed to be in the, okay, that's my question.
That's right. It doesn't have to be in there, but it's fine if you put it in there. It'll have to be maintained. Once you put it in there, it has to be maintained. But according to our current code, any separation between commercial and residential requires that 10-foot landscape buffer.
So it doesn't necessarily need to be in this ordinance?
No.
It should be covered? Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we got the roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Stoll,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton,
Yes.
Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes. That item is approved on second and final reading. Move on to item C, resolution 2825. Mr. Bailey.
Okay, I'm sorry. Mr. James and I have, Tim James and I have not had an opportunity to meet. We've got a meeting tentatively scheduled for next week with the architect, so I have no information to provide you at this time, so it has to stay on the table.
Okay, no action is needed to keep it on the table. So we will move on to new business, and item A, ordinance 1082 on first reading.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee to amend the East Ridge City Code, Title 8, Chapter 1, Section 8-101, titled Definition of Alcoholic Beverages, and Chapter 2, Section 2-206, titled Beer Defined.
Motion approved. We have a motion to approve in a second. Are there any comments or questions?
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes. Item is approved. On first reading. Item B, ordinance 1083 on first reading.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee to amend ordinance number 1078 entitled, an ordinance to provide revenue for the City of East Ridge, Tennessee for the fiscal year July 1, 2018 to July 30, 2019, appropriating the same to the payment of expenses of municipal government by designating a portion of the unassigned fund balance as a general fund and by changing the revenues of the general fund and by changing the expenditures of the general fund.
Motion approved.
Second.
One question.
Sir.
So this is going to put us 248,000 in a deficit? Or no longer?
Well, actually, when y'all amended it the last time to do the purchases for the SWAT team, that put it into a deficit, this will add to it.
So what's the total deficit as of today?
I'll have to get back to you. I don't want to just, it will be in a deficit,
It'll be 100,000 plus it's 248.
yes, sir. But remember also on what we purchased the land, I submit that back as a cost at the end of the year. So we'll get that money back.
We'll get reimbursed for the,
Yeah.
yes, on the 210.
I just like to let y'all know where we're at. If revenues come in really strong this year, then the deficit will, may not be there, could be less. But I want you to know when it happens, when you do something like this, so you don't get a surprise.
Actually, the three tonight, the 22,000 for the engine, that one we already got paid. And on the 210,000, that one will be reimbursement of the Board of Regents. So the only deficit we're looking here is the $16,000 for the insert for the van, prisoner van.
During the year, it's 210,000 will show up a deficit till it is.
It will, that's correct.
Okay.
Or unless the city wants to do a bond issue, carry that out and be able to combine some of those.
Okay, we do have a motion and a second in regard to ordinance 1083. Are there any other questions? Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Sewell.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes. Approved on first reading. Item C, resolution 2852.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, authorizing the city manager to designate purchase a 2019 Ford Transit 350 cargo van with its prisoner transport insert to the Tennessee Department of General Services statewide contract listing pursuant to Tennessee Code Annexure 12-3-1201B.
Okay, do we have a motion in regard to resolution 2852?
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion from Mr. Williams, a second from Ms. Helton.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I know it's very well needed, but the reasoning that the insert was left off, was that originally budgeted and expected to be a used van that would already include that? Or?
How do you
I
want
know
it?
it's needed, the one that's bad shape.
You know, what I had originally tried to do was purchase a van just like we have now. And we were going to take that cage and everything
Use
out of it and use it. But I can't find, I've looked all over the government site and everything to get one comparable to the one we have. They're either need a new transmission or it's just not worth it.
Okay, I was just curious. It's definitely.
And this one will last
Yes,
12, 15 years at least.
at least.
just curious.
Are there any other questions? Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Sewell.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes. Item is approved. Item D, resolution 2853.
A resolution of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, modifying Resolution 2389 and Resolution 2582 relating to the Border Region Tourism Development District, adding TCA 7-40-101 and second.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion from Ms. Helton, second from Mr. Sewell. Are there any questions? Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Sewell.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes. That item is approved. Item E, resolution 2854.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, approving a financial incentive package in the amount of $600,000 for Jack's Family Restaurant LP through the Border Region Tourism Development District Act.
Mayor, if you would indulge me,
Certainly.
I'd like to briefly go over the figures on this so everybody understands that we're not just gonna hand out a $600,000 check. This is for the new Jack's Restaurant. It's proposed going across the 1.5 acre lot across the street from the police and fire station. That would be the eastern lot. It'd be about a 3,500 square foot building. Present time, the city obtains $631 a year in property taxes. That's it. That's all we get. Jack's Restaurant, when it comes in, based on the figures that the owner developer and I have sat down and reviewed, Border Region over 20 years will generate $1.753 million. That's 4.125 cents being generated, coming back to the city once the 7% is paid for sales made at that restaurant to the state. The city gets back 4.125 cents. The local option sales tax, which is 1.125 cents, we share that 50-50 with the county. Based on their sales figures, that will bring in approximately $478,000 over 20 years. Property tax figured out would generate over a period of 20 years, $128,000. If you total all that, those three revenue streams up, or revenue sources, we come up with $2,361,000 that restaurant will generate to the city over 20 years. To estimate the property taxes, and you got to take away the $631 a year times 20, so deducting $12,578 from that. And your financial assistance is $600,000, and I'll explain that in a second. Gives net proceeds, I'm talking net proceeds to the city of East Ridge, over 20 years, $1,748,000. That comes out to approximately $87,000 a year versus what we're getting now, which is $631. Now, $600,000 represents up to a maximum of $30,000 per year for 20 years, provided that their annual sales tax revenues exceed $1,750,000 a year. If it does not meet that threshold and decreases by half or by a quarter or whatever, then the $30,000 is adjusted proportionally downward. So if they only generate half of the $1.75 million, they only get 15 grand. That represents about 35% of the total Border Region District dollars that they will generate by opening up that restaurant across the street. The city walks away with 65%, plus the countywide sales tax, plus the property tax. So the IDB, Industrial Development Board, has approved this. They have agreed to the financial package. Some of the conditions basically note that the property shall only contain a retail facility, which is a restaurant, whenever that, if that building were to, after 5 years, not make it and turn into a State Farm office or something on that line, doesn't generate retail tax dollars, they don't get any, we don't get any, they don't get any. The payment's on an annual incentive on a fiscal year. That means they've got to be in operation from July 1st of the fiscal year to June 30th. So if they're constructed and open operationally July 1st of 2019, then they will get their first check if they exceed $1,750,000 September 2020. For 20 years, they have to have that threshold. They've got to meet the 1.75 million or they don't get the 30,000. If they go out of business in 10 years, they don't generate Board of Regents sales tax dollars, we don't get any, they don't get any. So it's a win-win from both the city, we're pulling out an awful lot of revenue on this, and a lot more than what we're getting right now for a vacant piece of property, the house line. So I just wanted to go through some of the figures on this that we look at in regard to Jack's Restaurant. Anyone have any questions?
Have a comment, but I'll save it until after we take action on this. So, resolution 2854, do we have a motion in regard to that?
Motions.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion for Ms. Helton, second for Mr. Williams. Are there any questions?
I'm gonna eat my, no with it.
All right. We can have the roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Sewell.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Lambert.
Yes. Mr. Sewell?
I'm gonna eat at my first Jack's Restaurant tomorrow for lunch.
I hear they have great milkshakes.
I'll try that.
All right, well, what I was going to say is, we received our notification from the state, did we not?
Yes, we did. I didn't bring that form with me, so I'm trying to remember. I knew I could count on Councilman Cagle. We actually received $2,223,184.64. Of that amount, we have to pay incentives out of that of $1,112,110.54. So that gets a net to the city of East Ridge of $1,111,074.10. Now, although that is only about $37,000 more than what the net that we received last year, please recall two downward spirals that hit the city. One was the sales tax July 1st of 2017 went from 5 cents to 4 cents on supermarkets. That was a loss of 20% of almost $700,000 or $800,000 that we get from two supermarkets and all the convenience stores, anything that falls under food, went from 5 cents to 4 cents. We were expecting that decrease. What we weren't expecting a year ago was the closure of Food City. That hurt us. So if you wanted to look at both of those revenue streams, I would estimate if they were still there today, if we still collected 5 cents on food, and we still had Food City down there, we'd probably be looking at an additional $250,000. However, if not because of the economy, it was just because of those two issues, a decrease. So with Jack's coming on board, with several other major developments, which will be heard on October 9th before the IDB, those two come about, There will be a large increase in the Board of Regents sales tax dollars that the city will generate from these developments.
Mr. Miller, I have a question about that.
Yes, sir.
On the incentives payout,
Yes, sir.
do we pay anything to Firehouse Sub, Dunkin' Donuts? or
No. Firehouse Subs has a clause in there that they have to have 3 out of 5 suites.
Yeah.
They only have 1, so they don't.
That's the market.
No, they have-
Marco's Pizza, I'm sorry, Marco's Pizza. Firehouse Subs and Dunkin' Donuts, they were open November of 2017. One of the conditions is they must be in operation 1 full fiscal year. So they're not entitled to the money until next year. They did meet that threshold. They did meet their bottom threshold. However, they weren't open 12 months. That was the agreement that we had.
All right. We will move on to item F, the grant consent agenda.
Resolution number 2855, a resolution of support and commitment for the City of East Ridge to apply for a fiscal year 2010 Tennessee Department of Transportation, TDOT, Transportation Alternatives Program, TAP grant, Ringo Road Pedestrian Improvement Project Phase 4. Resolution number 2856, a resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, authorizing the application for and acceptance of the Blue Cross Health Foundation Healthy Places Program. Resolution number 2857, a resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, authorizing the City of East Ridge to participate in the State of Tennessee fiscal year 2019 Recycling Rebate Matching Grant Program. Resolution number 2858, a resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, authorizing the application for and acceptance of the U.S. Soccer Foundation Safe Places to Play grant.
Yes.
Okay. If we could have a motion and a second. Motion approved. Motion to approve and a second. Okay. Yes, sir.
Transportation thing, I don't have anything to talk about. How much is the Blue Cross Health Foundation grant looking for? Or how much you asking for?
Well, that all depends. What we're gonna ask for is help with clearing the area and fixing up for the dog park. So that is what we're gonna apply it to. I haven't seen really much of a limit or minimal on that one, because it's brand new. But right now, I'm looking for the property that we're about to purchase, to clear land, fencing, benches, things like that. And it's, from my understanding, 100%.
And the recycle rebate, 3825 in the budget, we'll have to match.
It should be, because that's what we always do every year.
Is it?
It
It is.
And we always get the recycled cans, which I believe we've already purchased, so I'll be ready to turn right around and submit that.
Okay. The next one, I think, the $600,000 thing for the soccer thing. We're gonna have to come up with $510,000 to fulfill this grant obligation. I'd like for I have done a little checking on the pros and cons of AstroTurf. And most of the pros are low maintenance costs, pesticide free, increased playability, fewer injuries, and saves water. But on the fewer injuries things, I found another article, another thing stating that they are less sprained ankles on AstroTurf. But then when you get to AstroTurf, then you have more ACL, MCL injuries than you do on natural grass because of the stability of the astroturf versus the grass, where it'll slip out from under the footing. Okay, now cons, put down astroturf, you can have a heat variation up to about 37 degrees higher than outside temperature on the grass. So they have been a big concern about dehydration and stuff like that on the heat hazard without installing a special water system, which will run the 600,000 way on up in there to the grass if it ever gets that hot. Then there's a worry about the lead that is put in the subbase underneath the astroturf, which is nothing but re-salvaged, re-shredded rubber tires that are not taken to the landfill. The hazard of zinc in it, and other harmful chemicals. There's toxic runoff due to this being underneath it, because natural grass will let the rainwater come down and soak through the grass, soak on in through the soil. Where when we put the rubber base underneath there, it'll soak down to the rubber base, and then it floats back up, and it has the runoff over the top of the astroturf. And it has the bacterial breeding ground, where experts have found that, whatever this word is, I can't pronounce it, Staphylococcus, CCCC. But anyway,
Staphylococcus.
yeah, with laid more than 90 days, blood, sweat, skin cells are washed clean through this thing where the grass will let it go on down, let the grass will take care of all this stuff, where the natural astroturf will not, well, that's an added expense to whoever has it. Then they have to come back, bacteriize, and once you lay this stuff, you can never go back to grass because of the stuff that this is made out of and put down. It kills all the regenerants out of the ground and never let grass grow back. So, and then there's another article that I read that is really scary. They hadn't come up with a proven fact yet. The goldies that start out as goldies, they stay there as goldies, okay? They attract cancer. There's a study on this, the lady's getting the names of the number of cases that have come up on the cancer side of this for goldies, because that's the big position that has showed up on it. And they say it's due to what they call rubber bugs that is filtering back through the astroturf that's underneath it, and it's nothing but the rubber tire stuff and the dust that they are inhaling and testing. And they recommend people to play soccer on astroturf regularly or practice on it regularly. 2, when they walk off of the field, a 3rd, rinse themselves down with water. Then, when they go home, take their shoes off outside, because they show pictures of people sitting here doing their hair like this, catching it in their hands. And then when you slide and you get the turf burn, and these rubber bugs, whatever they want to call them, when they get infected, then they go to the doctor, and here they are digging these things out of the infection. So there's a lot of hazards to this carpet stuff, and I'm one of the people that'll be against this carpet thing, because there's not enough pros that I have found for it. There's too many cons against it, and I hate to put my kid down there knowing that there's a possibility, I mean just a little possibility, of cancer forming years down the road after they play soccer out there on an artificial turf. So, appreciate y'all's time for listening.
May I address one, as a,
Yes, sir.
on this topic? So I've actually read the same study that you have, which is true for all petroleum-based field. If you look at what all the schools have done here locally, they went away from using petroleum-based. So use Wood Buchanan, for instance, their latest field they put in is used out of Nike tennis shoes. They've actually got a newer one out, that's a non-petroleum based product that actually reduces the temperature of the turf to only 10 degrees above what normal grass temperature would be. So the old style with the ground up tires and all that, absolutely, that's 100% true. That study, I read the same thing because my daughter is a goalkeeper. So if you did go with it, I would highly recommend you go with a different version, which is what has been discussed.
That's what we're discussing.
Yeah, it would be a non-petroleum based field.
Right.
Okay, do we have any additional questions or comments on the grant consent agenda? Any of the items?
I'd like to, well, I just don't know where we're going to get 510,000 to.
Actually, the $2.3 million that the council has already approved for phase one improvements and enhancements to the fields, one of those components was turfing the stadium field in the far northeast corner. That's what this would be going for. So we would already have that $510,000 appropriated in with the so with the $2.3 million.
And I was also told with you that that field would be the last thing done because we may not have enough money out of 2.3 to do that field.
You're correct. I should preface that, you're right. However, we have reduced the amount of fencing that originally, but you're correct. The first items that need to be done are the restrooms, the concession, the fencing, the fields, bleachers, screening, signage, and if we do have the dollars left, we can do the turfing of that last field. If we don't have the dollars, it can't be done. But we have to take care of the restrooms and the bathrooms, and those things, restrooms, bathrooms, same thing, and the concession. We have to make those amenities out there. We have to upgrade them. A lot of this is utilities. We're putting in 2 new restroom facilities that don't even have utilities to them, so we're gonna have to run utilities, water and sewer to several of those areas. One for the soccer fields, or to the north, and then one to the south along the pathway area. We want to make sure that we have accessibility to all these areas, so that's priority one. We may not. If we don't, we can't do it. Now that's what I've had down, and the council did the resolution basically saying not to exceed 2.3 million.
And also council too, that by applying for this grant, if we did receive it, we would save about $90,000. So that would also help with doing some of the other improvements, if this is the will of the council that they want to do this.
So this will be one of those grants that we can turn back in if we don't have the additional 510,000 to.
We don't necessarily have to accept it, no. This is a foundation grant from U.S. Soccer. And it's only for 15%.
Got it. That's what's here. If it's the other way around, I wouldn't be questioning too much.
Understood. But if this
Of
was.
course.
Right. But as City Manager Miller said, that since this was already appropriated, we were just trying to find some savings, and, saving every little bit that we can is a good thing.
90,000 is substantial. 90,000 just about paid. We had, I believe, just $140,000 or $150,000 for all the fencing out there, but we've eliminated all the fencing around the soccer fields that we were going to put in. So that $90,000 would just about replace all the fencing that we have out there. So that'd be helpful. But then again, depends on what the cost of the utilities and what the costs, the actual costs at the end are for the facilities. That's our main goal, is to get those buildings updated and upgraded and refreshed.
And there may also be grants along the way for those other amenities too. So we're just trying to find whatever we can to save some money on park upgrades.
Okay. Are there any Comments, questions?
One thing, he
Yes,
said, 6.3 million that we're going, on the hotel motel thing.
Yes,
Okay. We're still not gonna go over that, except for the 90,000. If we go over.
we're not gonna do it. No, the 90,000 would be the grant that we would get. But it's still gonna come, no, it's still gonna come in at 2.3 million.
okay. And we have a motion and a second. Have the roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Sewell.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Hilton. Councilmember Williams. Mayor Lambert.
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you. The grant consent agenda is approved. And that is all that we have on the regular council agenda.
Mayor, can I say something?
Yes, sir.
Lots on the line. I'd like council to consider, kind of consider this, I think that if we can maybe have, consider maybe using the retired city manager for a consultant down the road, if need be, for the sport regions. He's worked so much on some of this stuff. It wouldn't be an everyday thing, wouldn't be an office here or anything like that. I talked to him about this a little bit, and I just something,
May I respond?
yes, please.
My answer is I decline. I'm gonna be in town. Kenny has a very good handle. If he needs me, I can come in. If anyone needs me, I can come in. I'm not gonna charge for that. I'm a resident of the city. So I just don't see trying to milk. I don't need it. So, anyway, I thank you for the consideration. I know some of you have come up to me and asked me about it. I sat down and I've talked to Kenny. He knows how I go about doing this. He knows my methodological approach. And if he needs me to check it, I don't have a problem doing it, sitting down with him.
Appreciate it.
Okay? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, so we will adjourn this meeting, and we're going to take a short break. Yes. We're going to take a short break and come back and resume our agenda work session. This meeting is adjourned.